Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, which is a focus on state-based employment resources like Get Hired and IllinoisJoblink. This webinar is part of our Get That Job webinar series here at the Champaign Public Library. And my name is Jordan Neal, and I am the career librarian here at the library, so thank you all for joining us. So for the latest library news and updates, please visit our website, champaign.org, or you can follow us on social media if that's an option for you. The library's phone, chat, and email services here at the library are still available. You can email us at librarian@champaign.org. We are still offering our Book a Librarian service virtually if you need any help at home. To request a session, just visit champaign.org/bookalibrarian to fill out a request form. In regards to career services, I would be happy to meet with you one-on-one to discuss your resume or your cover letter. We're also hosting some practice interviews and just anything else related to your professional development needs. And as always, our e-library is always open where you can enjoy ebooks, movies, and more using your Champaign Public Library card, or you can sign up for a virtual library card through our website for instant access. And then finally, I'd like to briefly go over a few features available to you that might help during this particular webinar. Depending on your computer or device, if you take a look at your Zoom window, you can hopefully see audio settings at the bottom left of your screen. You can adjust your audio settings like changing your speaker by clicking or tapping on the upward arrow next to your speaker. Moving to the center bottom of your screen, you will see a chat and raised hand option. Clicking on the chat will open or close a chat box on the right side of your Zoom window, or sometimes it displays in the middle of your screen, and you can drag it around again depending on your computer or your device. You also have the option to raise hand to receive assistance, so you could use this if you have any technical difficulties or if you prefer to speak and not type into the chat. Our presenters, I think they're okay with pausing throughout the presentation if you have any questions. If not, it might be best to wait till the end, but I don't think they'll mind. Lastly, library webinars are recorded, so just be mindful when you're sharing those questions and comments. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce our presenters, Don Ryan and David Garvey. Once again, I invite you to read both of their bios within our event description, but essentially, Don Ryan is actually an IllinoisJoblink statewide trainer from the Illinois Department of Employment Security, or IDES. He's actually been with IDES for the last 16 or 17 years. He can correct me later. And then David Garvey is a content manager with Southern Illinois University, and he's been with SIU for the last few years, assisting workforce partners, businesses, and job seekers with their workforce goals. Both Don and David have previously and graciously visited the library before and provided some staff training. I'm hoping to get them here again in the future and when we can host those in-person workshops. But for now, I'm so glad they've joined us virtually, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to them.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Good evening, everyone. As was indicated, I'm David Garvey, and I'll share my screen here. Talk about the Illinois Worknet virtual job fair tool that we have that was set up in response to the pandemic. So it's accessible on Illinois Worknet's website. If you go to illinoisworknet.com, you'll see this on the home page, and you'll see these different sections down here. And for a closer look at these, for the job seeker resources section, we have some resources such as things to keep in mind when updating your resume, and exploring other resources available on Illinois Worknet that you can utilize based on your needs. And so that first button there, the Explore Resources, that'll take you to this quick start guide page that we have on Illinois Worknet. And this provides an overview of just a bunch of the different available resources on Worknet that are available to job seekers based on their needs. The other button that will go to the resume writing guide we have, and this has a lot of helpful articles and tips and things to consider when putting together your resume, practicing interviewing, and a lot more with the great Optimal Resume tool we have that is accessible to you for free with an Illinois Worknet account. And so the virtual job fair section on the home page, you see there's 2 buttons down here: set up a virtual job fair. That's more for employers. So today we'll kind of look at the search virtual job fairs and show where that button goes. So employers can set up virtual job fair booth pages here, and if you're looking for employment, you can use this site to search for different employers who are hiring in Illinois, as well as upcoming events that we'll have. And so, when you come to this page, you'll click that Search Virtual Job Fairs window, and that'll jump you down the screen to the employer booth search. And so what we'll see here is a listing of the different employers who are hiring in Illinois, sorted alphabetically. And the different ways you can search by keyword, you can search by the name of the company, you can also filter by industry if you're looking at a particular industry, as well as the search. You can search you can type an address or location name, city, zip code in there, and navigate and filter through the different employer booths that way as well. And that's actually, should remove that from the PowerPoint that currently being added. That's actually available here in different events that are upcoming. So we'll get into that shortly. But if you click on one of those icons where you saw the employer booth names, you'll be taken into a employer booth page, and that'll look like this. And this page includes location and website information for that organization, the job information such as the industry, how many openings, a link to that company's page that talks more about the different openings that are available, a description about the employer, which may include the kind of work they do, what they're looking for in a candidate, that sort of thing. If there's an employer contact that's been identified, their contact information, name, email, phone number will be provided. So if you have any questions about a particular booth you're looking into, you can follow up with that employer for more. Upcoming VJFs, that section, if they've identified that they're going to be hosting a virtual webinar, a link to that with registration information will be included in that section. And if my organization, SIU, if we're hosting the virtual job fair, we've been hosted a few, about 100 or so, we'll record them and post them to that employer's page. And that will be included in that archived job fair videos section in the bottom left of that screenshot. Additionally, if there's any supplemental documents or links that the employer wants you to consider, such as how to apply, or the different perks and benefits of working with that organization, maybe a handout about the hiring process or FAQs, that can be added to an employer's booth page as well. And finally, there's also social media links that they can include on their booth page. And so the event calendar, which if we go back to this screen, you can see in that screenshot, maybe pretty faintly, this VJF events. If you click that, that'll take you to this calendar view, and you can see different upcoming events. And if you click on one of those orange entries in the calendar view, another window will pop up, and that'll have information such as the date and time of the webinar, a link to registration on Eventbrite. And after signing up for registration, you will be emailed the link to join the Zoom webinar when it comes time for that job fair. And then there's also some in the description, there's also more information about the event that's included as well. But you can look through the event calendar page by navigating a monthly view. You can search by city or zip code keywords, or LWIA, kind of your area in the state, local workforce innovation area. And so, what these webinars will look like during the events is, this is a time where you can, learn more about the organization, the employer, what they're looking for, tips for applying to their jobs, perks, benefits packages, and a good opportunity for you to ask your own questions during the Q&A portion. So we'll typically open it up. The employer will introduce themselves and talk about their organization. And then at the end, we'll open it up to Q&A from, or if anyone who's attending, they may ask questions at that time. And as I said, if SIU is hosting the webinars, we will record them and add them to the Illinois Worknet YouTube channel and to the employer booth pages of those who presented. We also have a couple other resources to consider. We have a couple articles on our site that would recommend that you take a look at before attending a virtual job fair. We have the Prepare for a VJF, Virtual Job Fair, Jobseeker tips. And this goes through what, if you've never been to a live event quite like this online, what you can expect, how you can prepare for it, from researching the organization beforehand to, if you have any questions in your research, to preparing your resume, testing your equipment to make sure everything's working properly. And it's just a great way if you're unfamiliar with this type of online meeting. And the other article we have is attending. So when you're attending a virtual job fair, you'll want to be professional. And this article will talk about what to do during an online job fair, such as paying attention, taking notes, next steps from following up with the employers to keeping a job search record handout. It just kind of helps you keep track of the different employers you're interested in, and the status of where you're sending job applications to. So let me do a screen share here of the tool itself, so you can get a sense of this. So IllinoisWorknet.com. So we'll see here the Jobseeker, virtual job fair section. This Explore Resources button. This is that quick start guide that I was talking about, and this just kind of offers at a glimpse, the different resources that are available on Illinois Worknet. And we have accompanying short videos that are about a minute and a half in length, and there's also a Spanish version that'll automatically play after the English version. But with Illinois Worknet, you can look for jobs, you can learn about networking opportunities, you can check out our event calendar for other upcoming events that might be happening near you. We also have our social media guide, kind of the best practices of do's and don'ts, what to post. If you're looking for training programs, or if you're just looking to you want to make sure you have the right skills or type of resume, we have different guides, job skill guides, digital literacy guides, the resume writing guide, that'll give you a good boost and make you a competitive candidate when looking for jobs. And exploring careers too, if you're really not sure what type of work you'd like to do. We do have some skills and interest surveys that you can check out that'll ask you some questions, and then based on your responses, you might want to consider these industries. And all this is for free with everything on Illinois Worknet is free to use. Having an account gives you access to more things, but it is all free. So then go to the Build Your Resume button. It's the resume writing guide that I had mentioned. And so our guides are all set up this way, where we have an image on the left and on the right. We start off with an introductory slide about the guide, what it entails, what you can expect, and you can navigate through the guide by using this drop-down menu here or clicking through. So this resume writing guide, we have kind of no matter where you are in the resume writing process, to get prepared to write your resume, to actually start writing it, to customizing it, preparing for an interview, and other resources as well for you to consider. So that's a great resource to keep in mind in your job search process. And the virtual job fair section, this search virtual job fairs button here will take you to a virtual job fair landing page, and then the search virtual job fairs. And so here we have, the keyword search. You can filter by the different industries that are available. You can also search by location or name. And here are the different employer booths pages that we have. So let's see, I think this page is pretty built out. So for Abbott, at the top here, you can see links to their social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. Website, if they have, if the employer decides to list their physical address, that'll be included here as well. Under the job information, we can see, view with 1,000 openings. They're hiring a lot. And we do have this, icon over here, and, something to keep in mind is if you do go to, it says 1,000, but if you go to this page and it's a search and it only shows, maybe 75, something to keep in mind is that, maybe there's 75 different jobs, but they could be hiring multiple people for that job. So that is something to keep in mind when looking through the employer booths here. We've got our industries that the company is hiring in, our description, employer contact information. Do not have any upcoming virtual job fairs. Actually, this is, I think, going to change this week. But the archived virtual job fair videos, for example, this is just a direct link to YouTube. This is the event they held on 8/24. This is my internet connection perhaps not working properly, but under the document section, you can see that they've included some handouts on just kind of an overview, corporate overview, and working at Abbott, and what to expect there. And we also have links to their website about let's see, honors, responsibility, and the contributions that they've made to in response to COVID-19. And so if we go back to this list, we'll go back to the virtual job fair landing page. And so we took a look at an employer booth for VJF events. This will take us to that calendar view I had mentioned. And like I said, you can search by city or zip code within a certain mile radius, keywords by LWIA. You can, either have a list view of upcoming events or the monthly view. But when you do click on an event, you'll get this information here about the virtual hiring event. This Eventbrite page, that'll take you to that registration I had mentioned. It doesn't ask too many questions to fill out. It's very quick. And then you'll be emailed the webinar information. And I know I mentioned those articles earlier, but with each, I believe on each page of Eventbrite, oh, that's an older one. That's why it didn't come up that way. Let me go here real quick. On each Eventbrite registration page, we will have links to those articles that I had mentioned, prepare for a virtual job fair and attending virtual job fairs as well. And once you sign up for it, you'll get an email and it'll have these links too. So these are in a couple different places if you are interested in checking those out. And let's see, is there anything else I wanted to include? I believe that is all that I had to share about the virtual job fair. But if you do have any questions at all, you can absolutely feel free to ask me. And with that, I will turn it over to Don.
Thanks, David. I appreciate it. So first off, I just again want to thank David for the presentation on the virtual job fairs. As we're in this COVID state, obviously job seekers have had to find new ways to go out and connect with employers. And David with SIU and the Career Network people did a phenomenal job in building that virtual job fair site in a matter of months when the governor asked that. So it was just a phenomenal turnaround, and I believe we've had a lot of success. I know at the Illinois Department of Employment Security, we have our business team that works with the employers also to help them get onto that virtual job fair, because it's just a great way for job seekers, since they can't go in person now. It's just another opportunity, another avenue for them to connect with the employers. So by all means, I encourage you to get onto that site and to explore it. Even the booths have the information, so even if they don't have a virtual job fair scheduled, there still is so much information you can gather from the virtual job booths. So I appreciate that presentation, David. Which now brings me into the Get Hired Illinois website. So when this all started over about a year ago, the governor wanted to put together a website where you could go and connect, not only to Illinoisjoblink.com, which is basically my website, but also to the virtual job fair site, and to some more information that'll help job seekers who have been displaced, no fault of their own, or who are possibly just looking for more opportunities. So they put together this Get Hired Illinois website. The easiest way to get to this is actually if you do a Google search and you just type in Get Hired as one word, make sure Get Hired is one word, and then space Illinois. It'll be the first result there, and you can just come up to the Get Hired Illinois website, and it looks just like this. Connecting employers looking for workers to workers looking for work. So the virtual job fair link, which David had described, is right here. You can just go there and it'll take you right to the virtual job fair link. And as David had mentioned, search virtual job fairs for the job seekers. And then familiar page that David just went through on how you can search, and VJF virtual job fair events, etc. He was just at this page. So by all means, that's an easy way to get there. Illinoisjoblink.com, which is what we're going to talk about. If you're a job seeker, you're going to click here. If you're an employer, you're going to click here. So job seekers, this will take you to the job search page, and employers, this would take you to a resume search page. Before I go in there, let's just look at the other items on this page. The online training opportunities will take you to another site that David talked about, which is Illinois Worknet, which is going to go over some of the information. And from here, you can go and find out a whole plethora of information about opportunities. When we scroll down, of course, we have the link to unemployment insurance, and this will take you to the Illinois Department of Employment website with a video on how to file for unemployment insurance, and how you can also file for PUA, pandemic unemployment assistance. Also, there are some additional resources, which is the Illinois Worknet Quick Start Guide. Again, this is where the videos that David had mentioned earlier were on. It's taking a little bit of time to load. So, and he talked about the exploring the careers, the skill and interest surveys, et cetera, et cetera. And employment recovery project. So this is for the specific local workforce investment areas, LWIAs, and some of the information that they can provide, and some additional information that you can look at and discover if that can help you. At the very bottom of the page, we have other websites that will take you to other opportunities. Jobs at State Government is the Work for Illinois website, Job for Disabled Veterans, Jobs for People with Disabilities. These are all separate websites that focus specifically on those type of opportunities for those types of people. Veterans, youth, again, the Illinois Worknet guide tools. It has a link to Indeed, Career Builder, and Monster. So, as you are fully aware, finding a job isn't just going to one site, but it's going to many sites. And the more sites you go to, the more opportunities that you have. I know it can get very cumbersome, but we want to give you the most opportunity in order for you to find an opportunity for you. So we've shown you how to get to all those places that David has spoken about and some additional ones. And now I want to focus on Illinoisjoblink.com. So let's see, it's about 7:26 right now. So what I'd like to do is just to go in there as a job seeker. I want to create a resume and search for jobs and maybe save some of my searches. Again, this isn't the only source that you should use. You should use as many sources as you can. And I know the Champaign Library does a phenomenal job also. Jordan does a great job in working with the clients there. So the more people that you have helping you, the better your chances are. So I'm going to be a job seeker and I'm going to select here. This should take me right to the job search page for Illinois JobLink. So you do not have to have an account to search for jobs in Illinoisjoblink.com. You can search for jobs, but to actually find out how to apply, you will have to be registered in Illinois JobLink. But you can do a basic job search for, let's say, sales. And when I start typing in the job that I want, you will have suggestions. You can actually select some of those one of those suggestions, or you can just continue typing or not select anything, and then just go on to the next bucket, which is the where. So where do you want to work? And let's look for a job. And I always say the best way to do this would be to put in a zip code. You can also put in Champaign, Illinois, but I think zip code is the best way to do that, and within how many miles. And I'm going to do a quick search for sales in the 61821 zip code within 30 miles. It will tell me that I'm matching near Champaign, Illinois, and that I have 448 matches. Now, before I start going into anything else, we're gonna log into the system and actually do some more pinpoint searches using this refined search here in the left-hand menu. But if I were to look at, for example, this field sales account manager and select that, it will give me a brief job description. However, to view full details and apply and how to apply, we have to log in or create a job seeker account. So let's do that. I'm going to go to Illinoisjoblink.com, and again, I just went up to this little left-hand column with the funny guy doing a high kick with his briefcase. Illinoisjoblink.com will bring me to the login page, and this is basically the login page. If you have filed unemployment insurance, you will have a registration in Illinoisjoblink.com. You should, and if you have, you should know your username. If you were a first-time filer of unemployment insurance, that you've never filed unemployment insurance before, you can log in with your username, and then your password would most likely be your social security number. And once you enter that, it would take you to the reset password page where you would need to enter a brand new password. If you've had, let's just say you had an account years ago and then you filed for unemployment insurance again, you'd have the same username, but your password would be the last password that you had. And a lot of times that's obviously difficult to remember. So we do have a password reset desk aid right here. So if you don't remember your password, you can always go look at this password reset desk aid. That'll give you the step-by-step instructions on how to get back into the system. and it'll tell you to select the forgot username or password, and it will tell you then to enter your username here and select submit. Depending on how you have your account set up, you will have reset code and security question. If you've confirmed your email address, you could also reset by email address. Now, again, if you're a first-time filer and your Social Security is not working for some reason, your security question will most likely be your date of birth. And the way to answer that would be in this format, month, day, year. If that doesn't work, here's the help desk, the Illinoisjoblink.com help desk, 877-342-7533. They can get you a password reset code, and then you could just go in, and they'll walk you through on how to get in there. And then we also have troubleshooting. If you can't reset your password or you're locked out, it'll give you some information on that. So I hopefully remember my Jobseeker login name because I did log in this afternoon. So let's see if I can do that. If it's the first time you've logged in, you'll get the email confirmation, and when you select submit, then you'll receive an email from Illinoisjoblink that you would open up, and then your email would be confirmed in the system. That way you can then go back and reset your password if you don't remember it by email. I'm going to skip this confirmation because I do use my email address in a number of accounts here. So this took me right to the job order that I looked at before I logged into the system. But I have an issue here. To view full details, you must complete your resume. So before I can actually see the job order, I have to complete my resume. So I'm going to go to the left-hand, up to left-hand top, and I'm going to go to this little home page, which will bring me to the home page. It says, welcome to Illinoisjoblink, last logged in at 15:31 p.m. I've had one unsuccessful login, and it says my resume is not complete. So I've got to complete my resume. Now, before I go any further, I did want to also mention to you that up here in this tab, we have the resources tab here. And this is really an excellent starting point for Illinoisjoblink.com. If you haven't created an account, or you haven't created a resume, or you want to know how to search jobs, there are actual videos about how to do all that. So if I would select the resource page and scroll down to the Jobseeker resources, we're going to get these three. I would recommend these three videos: creating a resume, searching for jobs, or if you do not have an account, creating a Jobseeker account. Now, we're not going to create a Jobseeker account because we don't have enough time to go through that process. There's a lot of questions that are asked. So if you haven't, I would suggest looking at this video before you enter a Jobseeker account. Again, if you filed for unemployment insurance, you already have an account created for you. But if I select the creating a resume, this will open up, and this will provide me a MP4 video that'll show me how to build a resume or upload a resume in Illinoisjoblink. Again, searching for jobs. This is an excellent video on how to search for jobs and using those refined search tools also. All right, let's go back to my page. It says my resume is not complete, so I'm going to select continue, and we're going to demonstrate in a rather quick method on how to enter a resume into Illinoisjoblink.com. And I would suggest that if you are going to do this route, that you would allot the time that you need to actually put a resume in the system. We're going to do it very quickly, but you get in life what you put into it. So the more time you spend on this, the better your resume will come out. And make certain that you have your past employment history, your past school, things like that, all that information that you can plug in when you're building this resume online. In IllinoisJoblink.com, you can have as many resumes as you want. So my dream job would be a salsa dance instructor. So I've got that along with the customer service, sales, and I did a test in here. So I actually have 4 resumes in the system, but I could have as many as I want. When you see that your resume is expired with this red dot here, with this red date rather, past date, we can just go in there and select that red hyperlink, and then you can put in up to 90 days. So your resume can be active for up to 90 days, and you would update the resume, and then you'd be able to start searching for jobs again. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to build a new resume in the system. You will also receive an email from Illinois JobLink approximately a week before your resume expires that says, hey, your resume is about to expire. Here's how you can go in there and make it active, keep it active rather. So let's create another resume. David had mentioned on the Illinois Worknet that they also have a resume builder. So, which is a great resume builder. We're actually going through a change in Illinois JobLink where we're going to have Illinois JobLink New Gen in roughly sometime this year, and our whole system is going to look a lot different. I'll just show you the page of that before I end this presentation. But our resume builder, the finished product on our resume looks much better than what it'll look like here. But this still is a great resume builder, in my opinion. If you don't have any experience in how to build a resume and you spend the time building one, you're going to be satisfied with your resume here. You can also upload a resume into the system if it's in a Word document. The new Illinois JobLink New Gen, which is coming this year, you'll be able to upload a PDF in addition to the Word document. This system only will allow you to upload Word documents. So we're going to start with the resume title. So let's stick with the sales, for example. I'm going to put resume title as sales. I don't know if I have that already in there. I'll put sales 1 because your resume title must be unique.
And Don, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think you just answered this question through chat. When you upload a new resume, what happens with the resume previously uploaded? I think it just stays for the time period that you enter in there.
Right. So let's go back to the home page. So, for example, I've got some uploaded resumes here. I have 3 uploaded resumes right here. So if I were to go in this resume and upload a new resume on top of this, obviously, as soon as I upload the resume into the system, it'll be active for 90 days. And if I use this system right here, for example, if I take this one and upload it to upload a new resume and continue on, when I got back, when I finished this, and we'll get to that page at the end, it would show now that this would be expires in 90 days, whatever that date would be. Again, if I were to upload a resume, and we'll get to that page, we'll get to that when I go to the bottom of this page. I'm just going to be creating a new resume, so I'll have 6 resumes in the system now instead of 5, or 5 instead of 4. Did that answer the question? Let's see if we got. I don't have the chat. We'll say that it answered the question, and if it hasn't, Jordan, let me know.
I think that they mentioned something specific in the chat. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. They said you answered the question.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. All right. So the job title, I'll just keep it simple. It's sales. Let's go with, let's just leave it at sales. We'll go from there. And let's say I have 4 years of work experience. Everything with an asterisk is required. My education level, I'm going to put as a bachelor's degree. Am I willing to move to another work location? I'm going to put no. If I select yes, this is going to match me to jobs throughout the state. So I live in Peoria, for example, and some people think that, yeah, I'm willing to move to Bloomington. That's 45 minutes away. But if I would select yes, I would be matching to jobs in Chicago and, Mount Vernon and all those places. We'll put the zip code of Champaign in here. The maximum distance I want to commute one way, we'll put 30 miles. Am I willing to travel as a requirement of the job? I'll select no. What's the salary? Let's put annual, and let's put 45,000. I can go to this market wage information page, which will give me the career one stop, which will give me the information on what the average wage is. So I'm going to put in sales, and I'll just put sales and related work, and I will put in 821. I think I can put a zip code in here. Let's see what that does for me. And that tells me that the high wages are 30,000, because this is the Champaign-Urbana area, 30,460. The median is 23,600. The low income is 20,000. So you can get an idea of what the wages are for the profession that you've selected. I will say I'm seeking full-time, and I'll say day. Do I want to select temporary work? I'll select yes. Do I have a valid driver's license? Yes. If you want job matches or job matches for this resume emailed to you, yes. So if I select yes, I will get daily emails with job matches to my specific resume. This is where I can actually upload a Word document. We're not going to do that. We're going to create one online. So I'm going to go and create a resume online. I have to select the occupation that best selects the job that I'm looking for. So when I selected sales, I have 13 matches. And I am going to select, let's go with first line supervisors of office and administrative support workers. If any of these, if you've gone through all of them and none of them kind of match, let's just select sales managers. You can just use the back button and select a new occupation and try something different. But I'm going to select sales managers. Now when we build the resume, it's going to ask us to select one objective statement. Now you don't have to do this part. You can skip this, and I usually skip this because we usually enter the summary of qualifications. This will look better on a resume than an objective statement. And here they ask you to select up to 5 that reflect your relevant experience. So I am going to just randomly select some here. I'll try and get some without the, we'll go with that, and I'll update my resume. If I were the first time entering a resume, this would be more of a resume wizard. Well, this is kind of a wizard, but it'll take me a little bit differently when I go past this. I have my address, phone number, email address, phone number. If I want to add an additional phone number, an additional address or email address, or maybe I want to put in my LinkedIn account, web address, I could select any of these and add more to my address book. And then when I come to the end of my resume, I'm going to select what I actually want to show on my resume. Because it's 7:43, I'm going to select I have no more to add. All right, now this is where it would have, if I had the first time putting in my resume, it would then take me to the work experience, the education, the achievements, military service, et cetera, et cetera. I'd have to go through each section, but since I have previous resumes in the system, it just takes me to the review edit sections of the process. So I want to display the summary of qualifications, and I'm going to have to deselect these placeholders. And actually, you should make this specific to what your relevant experience is. These are only suggestions based on the work ONET that you actually selected on that second page. But in order to get through this exercise, I am just going to remove these placeholders. But again, you really need to make this specific to your career, basically, to what your history is. You can add things here, you can edit stuff here, but we'll just leave it like that. Now the contact method, we usually just suggest putting in your email address and a phone number for them to reach you. Work experience. I am going to add work experience real quick on this. I don't want to do that. First, I want to save. Sorry about that. Now I want to add a new work experience real quick. So job title, it was sales. Company name is Don Sales, let's say, in Peoria. And I started back in 16 of January, and I worked there till, say, August. Create work experience. Again, it's going to take me to the occupation code where I'm going to select the job that I previously had. And the reason why I wanted to go through this is to show you this system where I have to go and select the three sections here. The first is talents. And that's why I want to reemphasize on building a resume in this system is not a 5-minute job because it does take time. And the more you put into it, the better it's going to be. But I'm going to select all the talents that I currently had in my job as a sales manager. And I'm going to continue. And now, out of the ones I selected, I'm going to select the ones I want to show on my resume under my work experience. So I'm going to just select 2 there. Again, it's going to go through the same thing for tools and technologies, which I'm going to skip, and work activities. I'll put a couple of these in here. And we'll show all those and continue. I can edit this, add to it, take away information on here, but right now we're going to update the job, my work experience. No more to add. And then back to the review edit section. And now it's got my work experience already pre-selected because that's the one that is for this job. And I will select some school. Again, education is kind of a similar process. And I'm going to just select save and continue. And this is what my resume looks like. Again, we went through this very quickly, but it does a very decent job in creating a resume that's fairly decent for employers to look at. The new gen's going to have look a lot more stylish, but for now, this is what we have in the system. I'm going to select finish, and now it's going to show my sales resume, which expires on April 19th. So once I've got that, and remember we've got sales here, let's do a quick job search. And I'm going to search for matching jobs. So I selected the view options and search for matching jobs. And even though my resume title was Sales 1, it brings over on that job that I wanted was a sales manager. So it's bringing over the sales manager. So it's looking for job titles that have sales manager and then in the job description, sales managers, or it might just be looking for the word sales or managers. So that's how it does the keyword search. Then I'm going to enter the where and the within, and I'm going to narrow it down more, and I see that I have 355 matches. So this is where, and let's just spend the next few minutes going over the resume or the refined search, and then we'll open it up for questions and bring it back to Jordan. 355 jobs would be kind of an insurmountable feat to go through. So this is where we can go through the refined search. But I do want to warn you that not all of the jobs have all the information in the refined search. So for example, if I were going to look at jobs that pay $15 or more, there's only 2 jobs. But what I will tell you is the majority of these jobs do not have wages. So if I use the wage in my refined search, I'm going to be eliminating jobs that I probably pay what I want. So I really don't recommend in this instance to use the wage and even sometimes the education level. Sometimes these jobs do not carry the education level. And what I want to tell you is in this refined search of source, we have internal and external. The difference between an internal and external job. Internal jobs are job orders that Illinois Department of Employment Security staff have entered on behalf of the employer, or we have an employer that has registered in Illinoisjoblink and has entered the jobs themselves. So those are the internal jobs. The external jobs are jobs that we get uploaded into our system every night. Sometimes I might start out with internal and look at those first. But maybe what I really want to do is look at a city, and maybe I really want to work in Champaign. So now I've narrowed it down to 70 jobs. Every time I select something in the refined search, it's going to come over here in the filtered by. So now I've got 170 jobs to look at. Maybe I want to look at full-time jobs only. That gives me 47 jobs. So now I've got 47 jobs. And the other thing I would do is the date posted. So let's look at jobs that were posted this week. So there's 11 jobs that were posted this week that are pretty fresh. The job location is in Champaign and it's full-time work, and it's got sales managers as the key word. So I could start looking at these jobs. Let's look at consumer banker. If I wanted to go and apply for this job after I look at it, I can go and select apply for this job, which will give me the information on how the employer wants to be notified, or how the employer wants you to apply for this position. Now, the reason I like these filtered by is because I can come in here and I can save this job search. So maybe I don't want to have to log into Illinoisjoblink every week, or I mean every day. I can just look in here every week, and I'm going to save this as sales managers. So now, when I go back to my Illinoisjoblink account, I can go to my saved jobs, or my saved searches rather, and I can run this search next week, and it will only bring me up the jobs that have been added the past week. So it's kind of a neat tool to use to make sure that you're not missing out on any jobs. So you don't have to go back to your resume and start putting in these filters all again. You can just go to your saved search once you've got what you want in here, and then pull that up and look at it every week or so. Also, you will be receiving emails. If I'd mark that I want to receive email matches, so you will be receiving emails probably on a daily basis, and you can actually access those through your profile. If you like lose those emails, you can go back to my profile in the left-hand column and select notifications, and these will be all your notifications. Again, I haven't been in here for a while, but this is where you would have recent Illinoisjoblink matches if you had active resumes, and that was through my profile. I would also ask that if you do go in here, make sure that you put in a security question and answer that you know the answer to. So maybe you want to change your birth date to something else. I just removed mine today, so I didn't have it showing there. And then I can go back to my home page, and then I will actually see from the resume that I just created jobs that I may like. And again, this is not good because it's saying Chicago, which is not right because I put Champaign, but we'll have to check that out. Maybe this location is different. But anyway, that is the Illinoisjoblink, creating a resume and searching for jobs. This is what the new gen Illinoisjoblink will look like later this year. which will have links to Illinois Worknet and a whole bunch of other information. It's much more user friendly, and I'm very excited to demonstrate this once we have this live. And hopefully Jordan will let me come back and show this once we have this live. That's it. It's 7:55, so I'm going to stop right there and see if we have any questions and throw it back to Jordan.
Well, thank you so much. We do have a question here. Someone said, can you press or maybe select on internship and externship?
Yes. Oops, I know I'm in. So let's go to job search. Internship, externship. So 10, oops. So these are, when I selected the filtered by, there are 10 internships that we currently have in the system. Now I will, so these have been identified as an internship through the employer, or rather if it was uploaded, but we do have internships. And these are just 10 that we have statewide only. It seems like we should have more. And sometimes if you put in a keyword of internship, let's see if we get any more. No, we only get 2. Let's take out the internship. I get 1,500. So for example, this is an external job. And I know it's an external job because it has JC there. So management internships, management internship. On the external job, they probably don't have a flag for internship. So sometimes if you just put in the internship in the what box, it'll bring up additional ones through the source that is an external source, if that makes sense.
Great. We're getting some thank yous for the presentation. Well, thank you both. I'm going to start sharing my screen again, if that's okay.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you everyone for attending. Thanks to both Don and Dan. I really appreciate both of them coming in. And yes, we're probably going to continue webinars for a while, but when we start hosting in person again, there's my video, sorry. When we start hosting again, we'll be sure to host them here on site at the library. If you have any further questions, feel free to type them in the chat, or you can just go ahead and email me. I have my email address here on the screen, or you could give me a call. Like I said, we're offering those one-on-one appointments as well in addition to our webinars. So essentially, I would send you a Zoom link and we can talk about your resume, or we're hosting those practice interviews, a lot of them recently. And we can just focus on introductions. We don't have to jump in right away to anything. And then our next webinar, gosh, technology is not working with me today. Anyway, our next webinar is, there we go, is Resume Basics, which I'll be presenting next week, January 26th at 7 p.m. And yeah, we have one more coming up. Oh, that's it for January. And then we have a lot more coming up in February, in March, April, throughout the whole spring. And we have a lot more webinars, not just related to our career series, but our business series, our technology series, our crafty adults, our writers workshops. So please visit our events calendar online, champaign.org/events for more information. And once again, for the latest library news and updates, please visit our website, champaign.org, or follow us on social media. And you're more than welcome to email us at librarian@champaign.org. And you could also chat with us just by visiting the homepage of our website. So anything else to add, Dan or Don?
No, I'm good. Thanks again. I appreciate it. And I will say, if anybody on this web or Zoom call wants to reach out to me, my email is don.ryan, R-Y-A-N, @illinois.gov. So if you have any questions about Illinoisjoblink, feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to respond to you.
Thank you. And I think we have one more question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. Do we have to register and upload our resume for the virtual job fair? Can we just attend to see what is going on with the virtual job fair? Yeah, you do not have to upload your resume when you register for a virtual job fair, but certainly you can attend. You know, participation is up to you, whether you'd like to ask questions of the employer or if you just kind of want to observe and get a sense of how they are and go from there. And kind of echoing Don's point, if you do have any questions about virtual job fair or Worknet, I've shared my email address in the chat there, david.garvey@siu.edu.
Okay, well, thank you both. Thank you everyone for attending. Oh, someone's mentioning that they have some family at SIU, and then Don has entered in his email address as well. All right. Well, again, thank you, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and I like this chat. Go Salukis. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. Thank you all for attending and have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.